Hello, this is Carolyn with Carolyn's Paper Therapy, and I hope to make a little video for you today of a couple things that I'm working on using the Eleanor's Diary collection digital papers by Shabby Art Boutique. This digital kit is available for those who joined her craft room page, and it's very beautiful with lots of bluebirds and beautiful roses and florals. So I started a journal with it, and I've only done the cover, but I wanted to show it to you today and then just demonstrate right quick how I did the decoupage on the cover. I'm using a travel journal, which looks like this, and it's already bound with blank pages inside. And so I will just be adding decorative things to these pages, maybe stencil some lines for writing and etc. But I've only done the cover, and I wanted to go ahead. I always like to do the cover first for some reason. But what I decided to do was decoupage a napkin for the background on this cover. And I first cut a page from the kit to fit this cover that had handwriting on it. And if you look carefully, you can see the handwriting shows through on this napkin, just barely. And that gave it a nice background instead of just stark white. So then I decoupaged the napkin on that decorative paper that was printed on cardstock. I did not glue it on the cover just yet. So what I'm going to do is just show you right quick how I decoupage that napkin on there. It's something most of you have probably already done. I had to watch a video to figure out how to do it, so I'll just show you how I did it with another napkin. And what I've done is just take a piece of I'm not sure what this paper is, like freezer paper or something. It's kind of got a plastic coating on it. And I cut out a piece of that cardstock that I told you about that had the writing on it. And my friend gave me this napkin the other day that has the beautiful spring flowers in a mason jar, and I thought it would look pretty on this. So I'm going to decoupage that on there, and then I don't know if I'll use it in this journal or something else, but I will show you how I go about doing that. First, you want to separate your napkin into the single ply, just the very top ply that has the flowers or the design printed on it. In this case, this napkin was just a 2-ply napkin. And sometimes they're a little hard to separate. You can use a piece of Scotch tape or get something sticky on your fingers and get those pulled apart. But what I'm going to do on this one is just decoupage this on here and then set it aside. I just want to show you how I did it. And I used this Mod Podge matte water-based. It's water-based glue or sealer. And so what I do is I will first paint this all on this paper here. And once you've done that, you want to get your napkin laid down on there. And smooth it out as best you can. I want to get my edges sealed down really well. And then once I get that laid on there like that, I want to work from the center out and put another coat of the Mod Podge on top. Now, a lot of people worry about wrinkles, and I don't really mind the wrinkles, but you do want to smooth from the center out to try and get any bubbles out that might be in there. And see, you can already see that writing shows through, which gives it a nice background. And that's all there is to that. Simple as can be. And I'll just sit that aside and let it dry. And lots of times when it's drying, it kind of humps up. So you'll then, once it's good and dry, you want to sit it under a book, a heavy book or something, so that it'll be flat when you go to use it. So I'm just going to sit this aside. This is how I did the background on my cover for my journal. So let me find a place to sit this out of the way. And I'll bring my journal cover back over. So what I did was I had some, I have lots of die cuts, and many of them I haven't even used. And I had this one that kind of looked like a trellis and then a garden gate. And so I cut out this die cut out of white. And the way that I decorated it was to glue the trellis down. I fixed it so these flowers would show through like you were going into a garden. I put the garden gate on here, and I glued the bluebirds on a branch of flowers from our kit across the top of the gate. I just accented with this bow, tied a bow, glued it on. At the top here, I used some white lace across. I used our the little plaque for that has the word journal on it with the same bluebirds and flowers. I applied a couple more roses and some pearls. I think I glued down, I'm sorry I skipped a step, I think I glued down the background, the paper that I had decoupaged this napkin on. I glued all that down on the cover of the book, then I decorated it. So this is my journal, and in this one, I really plan to have quite a few of the pages just for writing. And then I thought about using some more papers from our kit, either just on the edges or to make a few pockets in here, but mainly in the center of the book, and maybe tie them in. So I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do that yet, but this is my cover. And then today I had a little time. I've been doing taxes and some stuff at church, and so I've been kind of not doing much in the way of my journal making and crafting. So I decided to do a couple more of my little shadow boxes I've done before. These are made on a 4x4 framed canvas, and it's flipped over backwards, and I paint the edges and the inside of it white. You could paint it any color. And that is my shadow box. And so the first thing I did was glue inside on the canvas, inside the shadow box, one of the background papers with the roses on it. And then I accented that paper with some book page. If you can see the book page, a little burlap kind of a flower with a whatever that's called, a rhinestone inside. And then I used this puffy tape to glue on a couple roses that made them three-dimensional. And that finished out the inside of the shadow box. On the edge, I used some white lace that I had, and just cut it and glued it down. Then up here in this corner, I added one of the bows from our digital kit and another little rhinestone accent. This green cheesecloth came from the wedding department at Hobby Lobby. They have several colors of cheesecloth table runners, which are the nice loose weave, wrinkled up cheesecloth. And I got several colors. I think there was an off-white, the green, and a burgundy. And so I'm just cutting those up and using them just like I would cheesecloth. I put the little birds in the nest here, the little bluebirds in the nest with the florals behind them, and a little word, make a wish. I've made this to hang just with a ribbon and glued it on the back. If you wanted to put it on a little stand, a little metal stand or wooden stand, you could cut that hanger off or leave it off. So I hope you can see this. It's got some nice detail on it. These would make beautiful little gifts. The other shadow box I did is a little different. As you can see, I've used my netting over the top that I got at the Dollar Tree. And it has these little puffy white things on it. And I thought that gave it kind of a subtle look. But let me explain how I did this one. This is the same little 4x4 painted white on the inside, and the back side is used as the shadow box. Behind what I decorated with, I used the blue and white stripe paper that came with our digital kit, some vintage sheet music, and then up in this corner I took it was like a journal card, and this was up in one corner and this was down in the other, and I cut it apart and fussy cut. So I have a bunch of flowers here with a ribbon and some bluebirds. And then down in this corner, I put a little piece of that cheesecloth, and it has roses and a little bluebird. Then I glued this tulle on and cut it around the edges to fit. At the top, I used my bluebirds on the branch. And cascading down from that, I used these little paper flowers that I had gotten, I believe, at Michael's. I tied a bow with some ribbon, and then I just glued these individually down to cascade down the sides. I did glue the ribbon to stay in place at these two spots here, so it wouldn't just be hanging every which way. This keeps it in place. And then I had these lace butterfly appliques, and I used one of those down in the corner. When you're doing these, you need to, I lay it all out first and decide what I'm going to do, and then start from the bottom up and glue it in there. This also has a hanger on the back, but would look pretty on a little stand. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you aren't a member of the craft room, whenever she opens up membership again at Shabby Art Boutique, I would encourage you to join. There's some exclusive kits and a tour of her craft room and different things that are really fun. But you could use any kit for the things that I've showed you here. And what I'm doing is just sharing ideas with you and hopes to inspire you to get your supplies out and use something that may have sparked an interest here in creating something of your own. So when I come back, more than likely I will be working on this journal. I'm going to call it the Bluebird of Happiness Journal. I think that's a good title for this, with all the bluebirds and the flowers and the springtime that are going to make us all happy. So I we'll be back soon. And in the meantime, I hope you will remember every day's a gift and look for the joy in each and every day and share it with everyone you meet along the way. So until next time, I'll see you soon.